Og's Ark by Allison and Wayne Marks. Illustrated by Martina Peluso. Car-Ben Publishing. In olden times, after God separated the earth from the sky, Og the giant came into the world. Before the sun set on Og's first day, all in the land realized he was no ordinary baby. When Og cried, entire forests swayed, and villagers miles away covered their ears to block out the noise. The sound of his cooing echoed in the canyons and caused boulders to tumble from the highest mountaintop. Buckets of milk gathered from 100 cows and 100 goats barely satisfied Og's hunger. Og's first bed, a cradle built from the finest oak, shattered into 1,000,000 pieces under his weight. As time passed, Og turned many more beds into piles of splinters. Og grew, and grew, and grew, until his shoulders touched the top of the tallest cedar tree. Now no bed in the land could hold him. Without a bed, Og struggled to sleep on the hard ground under the stars. When it rained, Og was too wet and cold to catch a moment's rest. After each night of tossing and turning, Og grew grumpier. His earth-shaking yawns and bleary eyes made people tremble with fear. But the animals knew that under Og's gruffness beat the heart of a gentle giant. At dusk, animals gathered from far and wide, seeking a safe place to spend the night. Chickadees and sparrows nested in Og's bushy beard. Chipmunks and woodchucks burrowed inside his pockets. Raccoons and flying squirrels rested in the crooks of his arms. Black bears and moose curled at his feet. All was peaceful and quiet, but not for long. The parrots talked in their sleep. The hyenas cackled at their own jokes. Yaks yacked. Lions roared. Donkeys brayed. Rabbits twitched. Wolves could be heard counting sheep, while sheep could be heard counting wolves. Eventually, everyone nodded off to sleep, except Og. As the seasons passed, a wise man named Noah noticed how kindly Og treated the animals. One day, Noah approached the giant. "Why have you come here?" Og bellowed. He was especially tired and grouchy that morning. "A great flood is coming soon," Noah told Og. "How does this concern me?" Og asked. "I am so tall that no flood can drown me." "God's other creatures are not so lucky," replied Noah. "God has told me to build an ark and fill it with the male and female of every animal. I have seen how the animals love and trust you. Will you help bring them to the ark?" Og agreed. Og traveled near gathering a pair of every living creature. A parade of animals, 2 by 2, followed Og's giant footsteps all the way to the ark. Albatrosses and alligators, ostriches and orangutans, toucans and tigers, sloths and scorpions, walruses and woodpeckers. Og helped each animal board the ark, from the tiniest vole to the tallest giraffe. Once the zebras trotted into the great ship, Og bent down to enter, but he could not fit through the door. Head bowed and eyes filled with tears, Og turned to walk away. "Wait," Noah called. "There is room on top of the ark where you can ride out the storm. Won't you join us?" And Og did. Sleeping on the rough ground had been hard for Og, but spending 40 nights straddling the ark was even harder. Rain pelted him. The howling winds made sleep impossible. Og's growling stomach rang in his ears and chased away his dreams. But in spite of it all, Og took comfort in every moo, squawk, and hiss he heard from his friends safely below. At last, the great flood ended. All the animals returned to their burrows, caves, and nests. Noah thanked Og for his help. "You have been a good friend to the animals," Noah said. "How can I repay you?" "All I want is a good night's sleep in my own bed," Og sighed. Noah stroked his beard, looked up to the heavens, and said, "Perhaps God will reward you for your good deed." Og set off on his own, wondering what Noah had meant. As night fell, he came upon a magnificent palace, unlike any he had ever seen. When he stepped inside, Og could barely believe his eyes. Before him stood an enormous bed made of iron. The headboard reached to the ceiling, and the plumpest pillows awaited Og's weary head. He smoothed his hands over the soft sheets and bent down to examine each of the bed's sturdy legs. As slowly as he could, Og lowered himself onto the edge of the bed. He held his breath, waiting for a loud crash, but none came. For the first time in Og's life, a bed held strong. "This is what I've always wanted. Thank you," he cried, looking up. The tired giant stretched out and closed his eyes, but sleep refused to come. Not a single snore, not one sweet dream. Deep in his bones, Og knew something was missing. Suddenly, thunderclaps shook the palace. Boom, boom, boom. Rain drummed against the palace roof. In the distance, Og heard another sound, the approaching rumble of pounding hooves and flapping wings. Frightened by the storm, animals raced 2 by 2 into the palace. Bats and bison, elks and echidnas, herons and hippopotamuses, llamas and lobsters, peacocks and platypuses. Everyone found a place aboard Og's iron bed. All was peaceful and quiet. But not for long. Mice squeaked. Elephants trumpeted. Pigs hugged the blankets. And one very happy giant laughed. Eventually, everyone nodded off to sleep.